This question comes from Jared, and he asks, how often do you have church in Senegal? Here in Senegal, we have church normally like you have church. On Sunday, we have 2 services, and in the midweek, we have a prayer service. But here in Senegal, every day we try to do something to share the gospel with people. During the week, we minister at the Bible Center. This center is a place that we've been able to build because of donations of churches in North America. Senegal is a Muslim country, and as such, sometimes it's difficult to get people to come visit church. And so we've had to think of some unique ways in which we can share the gospel with people on a daily basis. For the past 30 years, missionaries that have worked with our mission have established and used a Bible center, a library, as a means of sharing the gospel with people on a daily basis. The Lord put it on our hearts to open up a reading room in a part of town where there's no gospel preaching ministry of any kind. We also have an activity center where children can come and play, and we use this as a weekly means of getting kids to come, sharing a Bible lesson with them, and then having fun with them as we play games. On a normal day, the book room opens in the morning until 12:30. At 12:30, we have a special Bible reading time where we invite anybody who is at the book center to stay and listen to a reading from the Old Testament. From there, we will begin developing context of those who are interested in the gospel. From that, we will invite those who stay and are interested in these Bible readings to come to our Sunday morning Bible reading, where we begin to go through the gospel. Would you pray as we on a daily basis strive to share the gospel? Pray that God will open up people's hearts and that they would be softened to the message of the gospel and that God would save them. This next question comes from Abby, and she asks, could you get eaten by animals in Senegal? I hope not. Senegal has about 188 species of mammals, and while some of them are dangerous, like crocodiles, most of them are relatively harmless. In San Luis, where we live, we don't see a whole lot of wildlife. Once in a while, we'll see some camels and even some wild monkeys. The wild monkeys here are called patas monkeys, and they're kind of hard to get close to since they can reach speeds of up to 55 kilometers an hour. Where we live though, in the city, the animal that we see the most are goats. Goats are everywhere. Goats eat the trash, goats are on the street, goats are everywhere. But here in Senegal, much like where you live, if you want to see wild animals, you have to go to the zoo.
This question comes from Jared, and he asked, what kind of foods do we eat here in Senegal? Well, we eat a lot of rice and fish. The main dish here that they eat, they call it chabujin. The women take a lot of time to prepare their meals. They will start around 9 o'clock in the morning, and they will not finish until 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Now that would be their main meal.
So Tristan, tell us about some of the fruit that we have in our yard.
Apple trees, coconut trees, and some banana trees. And we have pineapple. It has no food. We have garden. It has food in it.
This next question comes from Abigail, and she asks, how often do you think of home? Well, Abigail, living on a foreign field presents many challenges, and sometimes we think about home. Sometimes we get homesick. Mostly we miss friends and family. Well, most of our friends and family. But when you live on a foreign field, especially when you're doing God's will and doing God's work, God gives a special grace that allows you to live on the field. He gives you a peace that passes all understanding. Living on a foreign field, while it does have its challenges, has many blessings. There are things we get to experience that most people don't get to experience in North America. We get to learn multiple languages, learn other cultures, eat food that you normally wouldn't eat in North America. We just love it. But the truth is, once in a while we do think about home. And sometimes maybe even we get a little bit homesick. Whenever I get homesick, there's a little trick that I learned to help me think of home and to get over not feeling so homesick.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
This question is from Elise, who asked, how many people have been saved? In our ministry, only a handful of people have been saved. Senegal is a very difficult place. It is a Muslim country. It is a very social religion where even if they believe that God is true and what we say is true and what the Bible is true, it is very hard for them to leave their family and to become a Christian. A man once told my husband that he would rather his son be put in prison for murder than for him to become a Christian. That is the attitude that the people have here. So it is very difficult to convert someone from Islam to Christianity. But our heart's desire is that we will see many, many people saved and that they will trust Christ as their personal Savior. Would you pray that more people would accept Christ as their personal Saviors here in St. Louis, Senegal?
We want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and for asking all the great questions. We hope it was a help. If you ever have any questions about our work or our family or our ministry here, feel free to email us at missionaryjoshmead@gmail.com. It's our prayer that God would continue to bless your work in Canada. We want to thank you so much for your faithful prayer and financial support of this ministry. May God be glorified in all that we do.